The Conservatives are having a policy convention in Quebec City. It's coming at just the right time for Pierre Poilievre. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist with the Toronto Sun, joined by fellow columnist Warren Kinsella. And Warren, I don't know about you, but the most shocking news I heard is that the Conservative convention has a prayer room. Did you know this? Is this the Handmaid's Tale coming to life?
I think it's a good idea because then they can pray to the Lord in her wisdom of thanking her for giving them a 14-point lead. Like, can you think of a better way to start a convention? By the way, everybody who's worried about how we're doing, we're ahead 14 points against a sitting government. Like it's something out of a Hollywood script. They're very, very lucky to have a convention at this time. They've got to be pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I saw Jim Armour, former Tory comms director from years gone by, saying, I've run a few conventions. Let me tell you, the biggest room is always the prayer room because the main hall is where everyone's praying their party's going to win. But, for folks that didn't get the joke, the Liberals had a prayer room at their convention just a few months ago. This is, they're talking about issues and people are saying, look, Poilievre wants to talk about inflation. He wants to talk about housing. He wants to talk about the cost of living. And a CBC headline said, but the base wants to talk culture wars. And then you look at some of the allegedly controversial topics that they're going to be discussing. And I got to start wondering where the media and others might be out of touch with average people, because one of the policy proposals being discussed is that women still have their own space for sports and other issues and not have to compete against a transgendered man. When I talk to women, Warren, regardless of political background, they may be uncomfortable saying it out loud, but they all feel like, yeah, I don't like that. Like, women have it tough. We've been fighting on this for a while. I don't want us to go backwards. I don't think that that's a landmine issue so much as an opportunity issue.
I have helped run campaigns, majority campaigns for Jean Chrétien and Dalton McGuinty. And here's how many times a resolution at a party convention, changed the course of the election. Zero. Zero. Nobody, can I say nobody gives a shit on our show?
Yeah.
I say nobody gives a shit. Like it's just, and I'm sorry to break the hearts of all the policy wonks and the Liberals and the Tories and the NDP sitting out there waiting for their moment to get their resolution passed. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, as Pierre Poilievre himself said this week, the leader and the leadership team decide ultimately what policies get put before the voters. And that's what he's going to do. And that's what Harper did. And that's what Chrétien did. That's what everybody does, right? You got to vet that stuff because you can't have crazy stuff on the ballot. So, and by the way, CBC is saying this, those resolutions may be out there, but the Tories have really tightly stage managed the convention, stupidly, in my opinion, keeping out people like Tasha Sheridan at the National Post.
Yeah, that was dumb.
So, there's some stuff that's going to be going on that there's going to be no reporters around to cover. It's just going to be a big love-in. It's going to be like the Love Boat, except it's going to be a political party.
The thing that I notice is when parties are doing well, there tends to be a lot more discipline and focus on winning. If Pierre Poilievre was doing poorly right now, say like the way Chantal Hébert at the Toronto Star had claimed he was doing just a couple of months ago, saying he was a liability for the party. If that was actually showing up in polling, then this would be a much different convention. There'd be sniping. There'd be attempts to say, well, the leader's got to go. I'm expecting a rally the troops kind of convention where they try and play off the polling. They try and play off the big mo, the momentum that they've got going, and try and show that they're a government in waiting.
That's exactly what they're going to do. And they're going to have an added message to the assembled throng. Don't screw up. Everybody got to be disciplined. At the end of the day, Justin Trudeau is, he's a terrible prime minister, but he's a hell of a campaigner. And the Liberal Party, we've underestimated them in 3 election campaigns, and they've beaten us every time. So let's not underestimate them. So I expect Poilievre is going to say that. one of the reasons why I think he's on top so definitively is he never dismisses the Liberal Party of Canada. He considers them a very capable threat, and I don't see these guys or his staff dropping the ball.
I would caution anyone that is trying to write Justin Trudeau's political obituary that you are mistaken. You know, as we said before, a couple months ago, the polls were very different. In a couple of months, they could be different again. These are not the polls. This is not the public sentiment that's going to take us into the next election. So be jubilant at your convention, be happy, but don't think that this is the end of the Liberal era.
And don't get cocky. Like, it's like, you know, as you and I always say in our columns, it's events, dear boy, events. Things happen, things come along, exchange your fortunes. Like these trials that are taking place to the convoy leaders in Ottawa this week. All it's going to take is an email comes out in the evidence showing direct contact between Poilievre's staff and the convoy leaders, and they're going to have a very different week next week. I'm not saying that's coming, but that's an example of the kind of stuff that can knock you off your game. So like this thing ain't over yet, but I got to tell you, Justin Trudeau, you know, if there was ever a time for him to consider a walk in the snow, this is it.
As a friend said to me the other day, he should get on a jet, go find some snow, and then walk around in it. Instead, he's in Asia, where I'm guessing a lot of Canadians would like him. Just stay there. Don't come back. But anyway, let us know what you think about all of this, the Conservative fortunes, the convention, how things are going. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media where you're still allowed to. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.